Imagine this moment. EMS calls overhead. They say that within the next 3 minutes, they're going to be bringing in a pediatric cardiac arrest. You have 3 minutes to get ready. What's your mental model approach to getting things ready? In this episode of TSN 5, I want to talk to you about something that has always helped me during these high-stakes pediatric resuscitations, and that is the 1-3-5 rule. And the 1-3-5 rule is a mental model that tells me what needs to happen within the first minute of the resuscitation, within the first 3 minutes of the resuscitation, and within the first 5 minutes of the resuscitation. This concept has been widely discussed in the FOMED world as well as on EM docs, and that's really where I first learned it. It's helped me in so many different resuscitations, and it's such a valuable tool that I always come back to. And today I want to talk to you about it. So let's get started. Within the first minute, I really want to start to establish and stabilize the basics. First thing first, I establish myself as the team leader. I let everybody know, hey, I'm going to be running this code and I'm assigning roles. Hey, I need you working on IV access. Hey, I need you drawing up the meds. Hey, I need you to have the Braslo ready to go. And that leads me to the second thing that I want to get established as soon as possible within that first minute is either an estimated weight so I can calculate doses or having the Braslo tape ready to go so that we can get our pertinent medications like epinephrine, atropine, Narcan ready to go. The third thing that I want done within that first minute is access. Ideally, I want IV access, but in these pediatric resuscitations, when the pressure is high, the cognitive overload is at a peak, this can be tough. So my own advice is I like to work towards getting an IO access, even if I have an IV already established, just to have that second layer of protection in the event that something goes wrong with that IV. So fourth thing that I want to do is check that glucose early on. That almost becomes the sixth vital sign that gets frequently neglected by folks. So just make sure that you get that checked as early as possible within that first minute. So to summarize, within the first minute, I want to get the team organized. I want to establish myself as the leader and I want to establish who's doing what. I want to get the Braslo tape or a weight-based dosing approach ready to go. I want access early on. That includes IV or IO, and I want my glucose checked. And that's all within the first minute. As we segue into that third minute, now I'm working towards my airway strategy. Typically, that'll involve BVM while I'm getting prepared to get the airway situated, getting my equipment ready to go. I want a focused history from EMS or the parents. I want to know what happened. What are some pertinent medical conditions that this child might have, like pediatric congenital heart disease, asthma? Is there any recent illness that potentially could have contributed to this cardiac arrest? And then the last thing is there any kind of possible ingestion that could have played a role in this child's cardiac arrest? And then the last thing is I want a temperature. I want to know if this kid is hypothermic. I want to know if there was any kind of environmental exposure that could have possibly contributed to it. And that can be a valuable key piece of information. So to summarize, in the next 3 minutes, I want to have my airway strategy sorted out. I want a focused history from the parents or EMS, and I want that temperature as soon as possible within that 3 minutes. As we segue into the first 5 minutes, and we're 5 minutes through, now I'm starting to work through the H's and T's as the team is already in process and they're working through the resuscitation. This includes trying to work through and correcting things like hypoxia, which does tend to be the most common reason as to causing pediatric cardiac arrests. I'm thinking hypovolemia. Could this be trauma-induced or dehydration-related hypovolemia? Now I'm thinking about electrolytes. Could there be some kind of electrolyte abnormality, but potentially hyperkalemia that could be contributing to this child's cardiac arrest? And then you always want to keep toxins and ingestions as well as cardiac causes on board. So to summarize, the 1-3-5 model, within the first minute, I want to stabilize and organize. Within the first 3 minutes, I want that airway established and I want to get a focused history. And then within the first 5 minutes, I want to start to search for reversible causes, with hypoxia being the most common cause of pediatric cardiac arrests. If you found this helpful, save this framework for your next pediatric resuscitation. This is Irtaza Asar, and that's it for this episode of TSN 5.